Yo, this mix is lit.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JBTHETICKET. Vegas Scoreboard Express.
JB the Ticket back at you live here, VSX Digital Sports Networks, exclusive with my main man Ron Raymond from AgainstTheSpreadStats.com. We shorten that up for you with the acronym ATS Stats. Check him out on Twitter, and I think you're on Instagram with that too. His website, ATSStats.com. 27 years in the game, quarterbacks coach, Army veteran for the Canadian Army. You can't complain when you got grease like this coming on your show. You guys want to be sure to tune in every Saturday and Sunday morning live to Vegas Scoreboard Express on KSHP, AM 1400 and 107.1 FM. So we got my main man, Ron Raymond, back on the line with us all the way, calling in from Ottawa, Canada. Thank you so much for coming back to the big board. Now, we're going to finish out this segment with you today. And, again, you guys are going to be able to hear him throughout the upcoming football season. Again, he's going to be our Canadian football contributor. A lot of money to be made in CFL betting, so you guys are definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. Follow the show on The Bird at We Beat the Line, and follow the show on Instagram at JB the Ticket. So talk to me a little bit about what your thoughts are in relationship to the current sports betting media, because when we talked about this personally, we didn't like what we saw. We know that sports media as a whole, the landscape is changing. That whole thing with the skip, and but Shannon, you just don't know. I mean, nobody's watching that anymore. It's over. It's over.
Yeah, no,
Shannon's quit.
And you know what?
Go ahead.
I remember when I first got into the sports betting media, and I was buying hockeypicks.com, one of my sites that I own. And here in Canada, I was trying to get advertising in newspapers, and they would look at you like, "Oh no, that's a gaming site. We don't do that over here. We don't promote that." So there's been a change of mindset over. I'm not really saying anything that's rocket science, but over the last 20 years, right? Where now people, especially the reporters, who are really looking back at the sports media and going, "Man, I better get the lingo down here. I better start learning how to be a handicapper," because sports reporters today, they're not going to be in high demand, because if you look at what's happening in sports betting, it's just like I call it like the CNBC effect, right? When you want to look at news about sports, the markets, you can look at CNBC, you can look at Bloomberg, you can look at Fox Business, but you go to a resource to get business information.
Right.
And for sports bettors today, the same thing in fantasy sports, right? I have an analogy of sports betting and fantasy sports. Sports betting is like the Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Fantasy sports like the Red Bull and Monster, right? It's just two different worlds.
Finally, someone said it.
Sports, yeah. No, when it comes to sports betting, the listeners want to be educated. They want to learn, because a lot of people, they'll get into sports betting, but they're betting, and they're really not doing any research behind their picks. They might go to YouTube, they might go to Twitter, and they might see, I saw this YouTube channel, he had like 100,000 views, or had 50,000 views. But what's the history behind that channel, right? But you got to go and get your education through your trusted resources that you're having. And right now, the sports media today, they're more about talking about, did you see the Lakers win last night? Yeah, LeBron was on top. But okay, what does that have to do about making me money? To me, I don't handicap teams. I handicap the number. And when I see, the Lakers playing San Antonio, Lakers -7. Okay, now let's go back to the Ram report. Let's go back to my fundamentals. And then you just got to go through the process. But your dad and your grandfather's old radio shows, it's just not like that anymore. And people who listen to radio, even myself, I find sometimes when I'm listening, I got to change the channel, because it doesn't connect with me like it used to.
Yeah, it's just boring. I mean, they're talking about contracts. They're talking about dating. I remember that whole Ja Morant thing. I'm not going to get into it. None of that helps you. And that's why we have the slogan here, which is service mark, by the way. So all you guys out there, when you hear this last word, all money, all sports, no bull, you got to watch out for that. That's why we tell people we don't cover politics on our show. Not only do we not care, it doesn't get you paid. We don't cover who the guys are dating or the girls are dating. It doesn't get you paid. And most importantly, we don't cover anything outside of the game. Once these players leave the court, the field, the pool, or whatever we're talking about, the golf course, I don't care what they're doing at all.
No.
Whatsoever.
No, hey.
Go ahead.
How do I make money? What information can you give me that's going to assist me into my thought process of making a really wise decision on my sports betting picks today? You know, I have this theory in life. Everything changes every 7 years in your life, in your cycle. You go back to your childhood, 0 to 7, 7 to 14, you're in primary school, elementary school, high school, university, you're getting married. There's a process of things changing, and it's the same thing in the media world. If you go back the last, say, 14 years, go look at ESPN, what it was back in the early 80s to 90s to 2000, and look at the content. And then look what's happening today with content.
They got politicized and they got caught up in that political jargon. You're ESPN, not MSNBC. But most importantly, Ron, I want to thank you for your time. We got to get out of here, man. Ron Raymond from AgainstTheSpreadStats.com, ATSStats.com. Thank you much for stopping by. You guys be sure to follow him for your sports betting education at ATS Stats on the Instagram and the Bird. And you're completely right. We agree with you 100%. If it's not about the sport, if it's not about how to educate yourself on how to make this a fun and profitable endeavor from a sports betting perspective. Look, we're not telling you guys you're going to come out here and be Mattress Mac. We're not telling you you're going to be the late, great Doyle Brunson, poker legend, but also a sports betting legend for all you people out there been in the book that know Doyle can pull out a winner for you. Rest in peace, Doyle Brunson. But like I said before, Ron, you're 100% on the line with this. Sports listeners, sports consumers, fans of sports media, fans of sports personalities are gravitating more towards VSX, myself, my contributors, and you guys as a whole and what you're doing, because they're starting to realize these guys love sports. They love making money, but most importantly, we have no incentive to sell you a dream. So again, Ron, thank you so much for stopping by. Any final shout out before we let you out of here today? Go ahead, brother.
No, hey, man, just happy to be one of the Rons on the show. The triple play.
Well, you're definitely going to be here. You're definitely here. Ron Raymond at AgainstTheStats.com. Check him out, ATSStats.com. And you guys be sure to hit up my website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com, and our sponsor, Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. I'm giving you 15% off, and that's 7 days free. So, Ron, thank you so much for your stopping by. And again, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this VSX Digital Sports Network exclusive with Ron Raymond from AgainstTheStats.com in Ottawa, Canada. So you know what time it is. It's time to grab your bankroll, hit the window, and beat the line. You got the Vegas Golden Knights tomorrow, or actually on Thursday down in Florida. Take them, rotation number 747. You know what it is, 747 or rotation 47, whatever it may be. Just take the Vegas Golden Knights. If you see them on that hockey list, plus 125, they're going to put that cash in your pocket. So again, JB the Ticket, getting ready to sign off. Grab your bankroll, hit the window, and get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket.